So this thing's back. Unrelated problem, I believe. Customer took it out and used it, and he got along with it pretty good. And the other day he was running it, and he said he was raking hay, and the tractor just stopped moving. So it lost pressure to the power shift. He said, I reached over and I went to lift my rake, and he said the tractor took off, but then he lost all these hydraulics. But what this is, this valve here, this takes all the hydraulic flow and it diverts some of it to your power shift through the top port. It diverts, it's got the PTO. This is actually the PTO valve, kicks the PTO on and off. It diverts that oil through the backside. There's a port, O-ring, goes into the case of the tractor. And then the other, let's see, is it this one or this one? One of these, I think it's this one, goes back to your hydraulic remotes. So what this valve does, it just takes oil flow and it prioritizes where it needs to go. So what happened, when I pulled this apart, I've got it in place now, but this snap ring was over here in the center of this spool. And what happens is this spring pushes against that snap ring. And then there's a cap that goes on there. This all goes inside of here. And I'm actually showing it to you. This is the way it would sit on the tractor. So when this snap ring jumped over there, what I think happened is it went from having a balanced pressure to, it kicked it over to all hydraulics. And then when he pulled the remote lever, it kicked it back to all transmission. So that's what I think happened. Like I say, I'm gonna turn this this snap ring over. It should be, I mean, this is about a 50-year-old tractor, so snap rings have a tendency to wear on one side. And normally if I take something apart and put it back together, I'll turn the snap ring over just so you get a new edge to work off of. But we're also going to order a new snap ring, so maybe he won't have that problem again, but we can get him going here pretty quick. Like I say, just a fluke deal, but this spool regulates how much pressure goes to the transmission and how much goes to hydraulics. And whenever the spring comes loose, all bets are off. It just doesn't work quite right. So I'm gonna put her back together and we're gonna see if she works. So this is the location of the valve right here on the right hand side of the tractor, just in front of the filters. So this is your priority valve or diverter valve. It's called a PTO valve because the PTO, the cable that switches your PTO on and off is in there. But there's a spool here that controls your, what it does is it allows so much oil to go through your filter out of the top of the valve to your power shift, and that's at a certain pressure. I think 175, 200, somewhere around there. But this is the main line coming off your pump. This is the line coming back out to your hydraulics. And your pump also has another line. If it's a dual pump, so it already has the priority to the steering, and the brakes goes through here. And I guess it's kind of a confusing system, a little bit, not too bad, but what happened here was that snap ring popped loose. It let that spool go all the way over, and it wouldn't allow any pressure back to the hydraulics. So pretty simple fix. I'm going to go ahead and order the guy a new snap ring, and he can get back into baling hay. Here's Jeff over here. He just finished his bottle. Shut up. You're not starving. Anyway, kids are growing, getting bigger. If Jeff knew how to fill his own milk bottle, he'd be good to go. But it's about time to wean them off of milk anyway. You can see they're all eating. We feed them 18% medicated goat feed from Stillwater Mill. And they got feeder inside there too. But anyway, some of them are bigger than others, that's for sure. We got some bruisers in here. Turning out all right, I think.